Hi everyone, it's Tanishka here. Just thought I would share with you my insights for the coming new moon in Sagittarius on December 7 or December 6, depending on which side of the date line that you're on. So this week, as we head towards, hi Jen, the new moon, this is a time when the energy is going to really drop. So, less is more. Now, because we're coming up to new moon in Sag kind of likes to tear around and not miss out on anything. So there could be a bit of inner conflict there, your energy levels. You may be feeling like, oh my God, I don't have it in me, particularly coming off that full moon in Gemini, which, can really lead us to be so scattered mentally that you might have run yourself ragged. I know I have. So, yeah, the more you can just slow down and get into your body, particularly because Sagittarius, one of the shadow traits of Sag is being clumsy. Okay, so it's when we're excited to go somewhere, be somewhere, because it's, the centaur, half horse, half man. So we can be like, yeah, I really want to do this, adventure. And we move before we're really embodied, before our bodies had a chance to move with us, to be on board with the plan. So this can lead to, accidents, like whether it's, so be extra careful with knives, doorways, whatever. Just, try and, a good idea actually to call all the aspects back of yourself as much as possible this week, so that you're really coming from a centered place rather than, being scattered and going off half-cocked. So I'll just speak a little bit about the specifics. So this new moon occurs at 15 degrees in Sagittarius, but what is probably the most, important thing is that its ruling planets, Jupiter, is going to be conjunct. So within, just a few degrees, so appearing as if it's on top of this new moon. And Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. Yeah, the Romans called it Jove. That's where we get the turn of phrase, by Jove, And Jupiter, because it's the largest planet, it offers us opportunities for expansion, okay? If we're willing to move out of our comfort zone, if we're willing to, take a risk on expanding our experience in life. So, we still have Uranus forming a square to the collective North Node. So this can bring in sudden opportunities for us that will propel us into a future that we didn't even see coming. So it's a very exciting time. A lot of people will have opportunities that come up for them in the lead up to this new moon, and particularly around healing. Okay, now the reason I say that is I mentioned before the centaur. So when we see an image of Sag, it's usually the centaur Chiron, the man who is half horse, half man, with his big bow and arrow. And the lesson of this is that, Sag propels us to take up the quest for meaning, for a sacred purpose, so that we're not just, existing in the mundane realm and feeling unfulfilled. So if you haven't found, your true purpose, this week could be very confronting, if you're doing work that doesn't feel like it really aligns with your inner self. You may get a sore throat, in fact. And the reason for this is the centaur Chiron, he governs the throat chakra. He's the male archetype that governs the throat chakra. So this week could bring up deep vulnerabilities, deep old wounds, because Chiron is, people refer to him as the wounded healer. I really don't like that term. I feel that it's a patriarchal distortion, to be quite honest. For me, he resonates as the spiritual teacher, one who shares his vulnerability and shares his past experiences, regardless if we're male or female, but the teacher who teaches their experiential wisdom and is unafraid to be completely transparent in that, so others can take from that what resonates with them, what, you know, helps them with their journey. So unlike the teacher who sort of puts themselves up on a pedestal and says, you know, I've got all the answers and you need me, Chiron as an archetypal energy, when embodied positively, you know, is very humble and teaches from, you know, their mistakes, you know, from where they got it wrong, or you know, what worked for them in their healing journey. So it empowers people to see themselves as their own healers, as their own shamans, and not need somebody, you know, as a dependency, as a, you know, a surrogate parent to heal them, that we're all our own healers. So if you have, and you know, we've got Chiron, the planetoid Chiron, back in Pisces, so this can really bring up old karmic wounds, ancestral wounds. So do invite your ancestors in to help you heal that. And if deep, you know, vulnerability comes up, allow yourself to travel into the wound, yeah, through expressing the emotion, because only then do we get the insights to help shift it. This would be a potent window for doing family constellations work. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Very, very powerful work where, you know, like in the African tradition, you're invoking the ancestors to help shift the ancestral stories that have been passed down and wounded each successive generation. So Sagittarius is the philosopher of the zodiac, and you know, it inspires us to take the road less traveled, to get off the conveyor belt of what's expected through societal conditioning. You know, you must meet someone, do a normal job, take out a mortgage, have a child by the time you're 30, whatever, you know. Sag is very much about freedom. The freedom to be ourselves, the freedom to take a different route and see where it leads, you know, for the sake of adventure, because ultimately if we're not prepared to do that, then we won't find what our deepest truth is, yeah? We have to explore. We have to be willing to get lost to find ourselves. So that's very much the lesson of Sag. So, you know, you may feel restless, and a need to travel, a need to get away, to break free of, you know, mundane duties, responsibilities, that sort of thing. Shadow Sag can have a problem with commitment, but, you know, so long as we're getting a regular adventure, we're getting, you know, ideally to go somewhere that we've never been before, or to do or try something that we've never done before, which calls us, that would be a wonderful thing to either do this week or plan to do. So because this is the sign of the archer, okay, you'll see the arrow as the glyph for Sagittarius. The lesson that we have to observe, well, you don't have to, you're welcome to, is that for our arrows to hit their target, for us to make our mark in the world, okay, to really make a difference, we have to have a self from which to shoot, from which to align that target. If we don't know who we are, if we haven't taken that road less traveled, that time out to really know ourselves, to question, and the big questions, who am I, what am I doing here, what's my purpose, then we're not centered, and we're not then able to have the clarity to know what our true direction is in life, our true purpose. And so if we don't do that, we hunger for as many experiences as we can get. You know, it's like rather than really honing in on knowing who we are and knowing which experiences would be truly fulfilling for us. We're like a glutton. It's like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. So, you know, you'll often see Sagittarius either are very thin because they're, you know, busy running around trying to experience everything, or they can be quite gluttonous, okay, and quite overweight if they're living from their armchair, too afraid to leave their known world, yeah, to step into the unknown. But, you know, they're trying to satiate their need for adventure and experience through, yeah, gluttony. So just, you know, because we're heading into the new moon in Sagittarius, new moon is, you know, the darkest phase of the month. So this can really bring up the shadow of that sign. So if you feel like your compass is a bit off, yeah, like the path that you're heading down isn't exciting for you, yeah, you know, Sag is a fire sign, so it should fill us with a sense of excitement and enthusiasm and play, you know, like we're champing at the bit to just, yeah, get out and do it. And if we're not feeling like that about the path that we're on, then this new moon will really bring it up for us, okay? So, look, similarly, you know, we're coming into the silly season at the moment. So because Sag urges us to seek out greater meaning in life, you may find the sort of commercialism of the holidays, whether or not you're celebrating Christmas or Hanukkah, you know, in December. But just, you know, I was at Singapore airport yesterday for the day. And yeah, you know, I mean, it's really quite ridiculous seeing in a tropical country, an Asian country, you know, fake snow, you know, Yuletide, which is winter solstice, commercial sort of installations everywhere you look. You know, we've just got things so upside down and back to front. You know, Yule, which then Christmas was based on, is a midwinter festival. So, and, you know, there were many celebrating Halloween here in Bali as well. So, you know, everything's just upside down and back to front. So this is about really coming back to what has meaning for me. And don't feel like you're alone if you kind of want to run away and go traveling and don't do the family Christmas, you know. So Sag asks our inner self and our outer life to be in alignment, okay? So because I feel Sag is very much aligned with Chiron because of that archetypal energy I spoke about, we can have neck problems come up for us because the neck is the bridge between the lower and the upper planets, you know, between the inner or the chakras and the inner planets and the outer planets, or, you know, when our head and our heart are not in alignment. So, yeah, if you are feeling sort of caught between what you feel you should be doing and what your heart really wants to do, you may end up experiencing some neck problems in the lead up to this new moon. So good osteo would be great, or a chiro if that's, you know, something that is feeling it. So the big questions to be journaling and asking this week are, what is my truth? Okay, what's my direction in life? Is it exciting me? And where's my wound? Okay, because if we go into the wound, we will find our purpose. So those that don't want to go there, don't want to feel their vulnerability, they won't connect in with, you know, what they're passionate about, and being able to help others from the journey with their own wound. And that's not to say that everyone's going to be a spiritual teacher, but, you know, whatever our path is, our wound will in some way either sabotage or enhance it, depending on the level that we embrace our healing journey. So a great week for healing. And yeah, if you've got the opportunity to go to Circle this dark moon, it would be a really good one not to miss, because you know, when the vulnerability comes up, that's the time to shift it. Yeah, that's the window of opportunity. So, you know, it's about embracing that rather than suppressing it and or making up a story about it, you know, and feeling like, oh, you know, woe is me, victim consciousness. So if you can get away, even just for a day trip, your inner centaur is going to feel very, very happy this week in the lead up to the new moon. And yeah, if you can't, then, you know, look at how you can create, even if it's a 2-year trajectory, travel plans to a place on the planet that really calls you and feels like your ultimate bucket list adventure to go there. And just planning it is going to be fulfilling for your soul in the lead up to this new moon in Sag. So I hope that's a help. And yeah, just go easy. Those of you that are looking after others, you know, as carers, as parents, this is always the hardest week of the month. So, you know, be easy on yourself in terms of, you know, not martyring yourself, not overdoing, not overgiving. Be honest with what energy levels you have, especially if you've got vulnerability coming up, you know, and do what I used to call no-cook dinners, you know, where you just do a platter and everybody can just, you know, graze, or leftovers or takeout. Yeah, and don't give yourself a hard time if you're putting the kids in front of a movie in order just to get some time to journal, you know, to do your own process. Yeah. All right, well, blessings to you all, and we'll be posting the Astro Oracle on Monday, so keep an eye out for that. All right, blessings on your week. Ciao for now.